my amazing stylist friends. Thank you so much for being here with me today. My name is Ashley Krupaberg, PRAVANA Global Artistic Educator, and I'm so happy that you're here with me because that means that you are ready to take your PRAVANA knowledge to the next level. Today we are going to be learning all things Chromasilk cream hair color. So to kick off class today, I want to make sure I reintroduce all of you to one of the most amazing tools you should always have with you. It's the PRAVANA Chromasilk Swatch Book. Let's dive into this. So once you go ahead and open up this swatch book, I definitely want you to just take a minute to enjoy the way that we've broken up all of the color families for you. Just to make it easier for browsing purposes, we have the cooler tones on this side and the warmer tones on this side. Now when you start at the very front, it'll walk you through all of our demi-permanent options, which we're gonna get to in just a little bit. Just stick with me. But we're gonna start with Hydrogloss, then we're gonna go into our Expresstones, followed by our Platinum toners. After the Platinum toners, you'll come to our Violet family, which is always represented by a number 7. Next up, we have Mahogany, which is represented by a number 5. Next up, we'll have Chocolate, which you'll always see represented by 2 numbers, a 3 and a 7. Then we have Pearl, which is a number 8. Next up is Beige, which is always a number 2. Then we have Smoky, which is always a number 9. Then we move into our Intense Ash tones, which is always represented by a number 1. Then comes the Natural series. Again, this side of the book is always going to represent the cooler tones. So anytime our clients are requesting any sort of a cool tone, we want to make sure that we're referencing this side of the book. Then we move into our warm tones over here. We're going to kick this off with our Blended Neutral series. Next up, we have our Low Light series, which is always represented by just letters NTL. After that, we'll move into Gold, which is always represented by the number 3. After that, we'll move into Coppers, which is the number 4. After that, just for some rich coppers, you'll see a blend of a couple different colors and numbers, usually a 4 and a 5. Next up, we move into Reds, which is always represented by the number 6. And then you're going to move into our color customizers. All right, after we have those color customizers, we're gonna move into our high lift blondes, which again, I'm gonna tell you all about those in just a little bit. After the high lift blondes, we start moving into my personal favorite, the vivid tones. Now the first vivid tones that our book will talk to you about are the Vivids Everlasting, our permanent form of Vivids. And right after that, you move into all of our other different shades and families in the PRAVANA Vivids. Now that we've gone through the entire Chromasilk swatch book, I want to talk to you about one of my personal favorite things, color theory. Let's talk natural versus neutral. Now within the PRAVANA world, anytime you're looking at our natural series, always remember that it's represented by just the letter N. The PRAVANA Natural series is always going to be ever so slightly elevated towards blue on the color wheel, which means the end result will be a cooler toned color. Anytime a color is cooler toned, that means it's less reflective of light, which means that it will appear slightly darker. To take our color theory one step further, let's talk about how we would create a truly natural tone. If I took all 3 of my primary tones, I would mix 1 part blue, 1 part red, and 1 part yellow together in equal parts, and when you mix those all together, it causes those colors to appear slightly cooler because of the blue tone. Now when you move into the other tones within PRAVANA, which we call our blended neutrals, I want you to keep in mind that the mixture of the 3 primary colors is going to change up just a little bit. You ready for it? We're gonna take 1 part blue, 2 parts yellow, and 3 parts red. Now because I've utilized that 2 parts of yellow and the 3 parts of red, when I mix them together, it will cause my blended neutral series to be ever so slightly warm. Now if I move into a perfectly balanced neutral tone, meaning it's not too cool and it's not too warm, I want you to take 1 part blue, 2 parts red, and 3 parts yellow. Mixing all 3 of those colors together in those proportions will give you a perfectly balanced neutral, which you will find in our Hydrogloss series. So now that we've talked about our natural series and our blended neutral series, there's one more that I definitely don't want to leave out for you, which is our gold series. Now you might be wondering, why are you telling me about all of this? It's because when it comes to gray coverage, those are the 3 families you want to be the most well-versed in to get the best gray coverage every single time. Now, a super fun fact that you might not know about our gold series is that it's not just gold. It actually has a cool green base to it to help control some of the warmth so that when you put it on your client, they're not coming out too warm. We know that warmth is more reflective of light, and it could give us a lighter and brighter color, but sometimes we need to control that warmth just a little bit. So we at PRAVANA put our own little spin on things and add that cool green base to it to help control the warmth for you. So we at PRAVANA always want to make sure that we are giving you all the best tips and tricks to get the best end results for all of your clients' hair. Some of the things I want to walk you through would be the 5 essential steps to formulating your perfect Chromasilk hair color. Step 1 is always going to be, where am I starting? I have my amazing level finder here. Pro tip I want to make sure to give you: whenever you're looking for your client's natural level, you want to make sure that you're always using the back of the head, and what you want to do is go in and lift a little bit of the hair up and look at the hair that's found underneath. The reason we base our natural level off of that is because this is covered from the sun. Any hair that's really up here on the top tends to be a little lighter than the true natural color of our client. Once you have this part back here, now remember, Christine's hair is freshly colored, but what I did was take my natural level finder. This has level 1 all the way through 10, and amazingly, it has warm tones and it has cool tones. So all you want to do is go and take whichever level you feel reflects closely to her natural. You want to take that swatch and go ahead and just push it up into the hair a little bit. Once you see a perfect blend and you can no longer tell if it's her hair or the swatch, you know you found that natural level. So then, of course, after you've decided what the natural level is at the base, if you have to do any sort of repigmentation towards the ends, you can still continue to use this level finder because it'll give you a little bit more of a frame of reference of how light that hair is, especially if we have to go in and put more pigment back into the hair. Step 2 is going to be, where am I going? One of my best pro tips that I would love to give to you is always encourage your clients to come in with a reference photo. They might not know the exact lingo to share with you of what they're looking for, but if they have a picture to show you, you can go ahead and have that very thorough consultation and make sure that you're both on the same page. Step 3 is going to be, what am I going to do to get there? Am I lifting levels or am I depositing? Do I want to enhance some tones or do I want to neutralize them? This is also a really important step to take the time to figure out, am I using permanent hair color or should I reach for my demi-permanent? So step 4 will be, are there any obstacles in my way? For example, when we were assessing Christine's hair, we wanted to go for a beautiful all over even color that had a very nice blend. So my obstacle was making sure that I gave strictly just deposit in the root area and focused mostly on depositing and repigmenting the ends of her hair, but making sure that I didn't go too cool or too warm. And last but not least, we have step 5. How do I address those obstacles? The good thing about having a very thorough consultation is you've already followed steps 1 through 4, which provides you with all the answers that you need. Where am I starting? Where am I going? What do I have to do to get there? Now that you know exactly what type of hair color you want to use and exactly what type of hair your client is going for, you get to go out there and create some beautiful hair. Okay, so now you know all the things about natural, blended neutral, and gold, and we're gonna do some formulation for gray coverage. On the level finder that you saw me using before, on the very back of it, we have a really nice reference that will show you what 25% gray looks like, 50% gray, and of course 75%. It's crucial whenever you're doing any sort of gray coverage application that you follow this percentage so that you don't get any sort of hot roots. No one has time for hot roots, am I right? So when it comes to gray coverage, the biggest pro tip I want you to take away from me today is that the percentage of gray that they have on their head will determine the same percentage of either natural, blended neutral, or gold that you'll need in your formula to cover those grays and get the perfect color. So speaking of that mixing ratio, when I take color, what am I mixing it with? You got it, developer. So today, because we're talking about our Chromasilk color, we're gonna talk about specifically what do I mix with my Chromasilk Permanent Cream Hair Color. Anytime you're utilizing either Chromasilk Cream Hair Color or Vivid's Everlasting, remember that they are both permanent options and can only be mixed with 10, 20, 30, or 40 volume developer. The other important thing to know about developers is your hydrogen peroxide content. So we're gonna go through those in detail. When I take my 10 volume developer, that is made up of 3% hydrogen peroxide. The first 3% of the hydrogen peroxide in any of your developers is always what's causing that cuticle to swell and accept the color. When I move up to my 20 volume developer, it's now a 6% hydrogen peroxide content. Remember, my first 3% is causing that cuticle to swell, whereas the remaining 3% is going to give me one level of lift. When I move on to my 30 volume developer, I now have 9% hydrogen peroxide content. The first 3%, you already know it, is swelling my cuticle. The remaining 6% is now giving me 2 levels of lift. And last but not least, 40 volume, because we can't forget about it, that has a 12% hydrogen peroxide content. My first 3%, I know you're already saying it with me, is swelling the cuticle. The remaining 9% will give me my 3 levels of lift. Now, when it comes to mixing up any of your Chromasilk colors, remember that we are always mixed 1 part color to 1.5 parts of your chosen developer. Now, my favorite pro tip that I have to talk to you about is my favorite little scale. Zoom in on this, check it out everyone. This right here is because we at PRAVANA are a weighted color line. And my other biggest pro tip that I want to give you is try to measure in grams. It truly gives you the most precise measurement and helps you to stay on task. Alrighty, you have mixed up your color. Now you're ready to apply. Remember that anytime you're using your Chromasilk Permanent Cream Hair Color, it will process anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes at room temperature. Now, if there's one thing anyone in this whole entire hair color world knows about Vivid colors, they know the name PRAVANA. Well, we heard everyone's requests and we took that into consideration and we made you permanent Vivids. Now, I bring that up only to say because we oftentimes want to know, how can I enhance the color that I'm working on right now? How can I get that Vivids-like effect, but in permanent form? Now, one pro tip I want to make sure that you take away from this today is that we never ever mix our PRAVANA Vivids with any of our Chromasilk Cream Hair Color. They are 2 different families and they stay completely apart. If you're ever looking to get that Vivids-like effect but in permanent form, we bring you Chromasilk Vivids Everlasting. It comes in several shades. We're gonna walk through them. So we have Scarlet Red, Poison Berry, Mystic Magenta, Violet Rain, and Enchanted Pink. Now, anytime we come out with any sort of color line, we want to always make sure that we give you the dilution options that you need. Therefore, within the Vivid's Everlasting line, we make Pastel Potion. Now, I definitely want to make sure that I point out exactly what the box looks like to you. Whenever you're shopping for it, you'll see that it says Vivid's Everlasting on it. Anytime you grab this Vivid's Everlasting box, remember it's permanent cream hair color and it's only ever to be mixed with 10, 20, 30, or 40 volume developer. Now, to take it up a notch, you can actually use it in 2 different ways. Let's say you're going for that more Vivid-like effect, but in permanent form. What I want you to do is go in and pre-lighten the hair to the appropriate level, and then you'll go back in with your Vivid's Everlasting option, utilizing 10 or 20 volume developer. Now, we learned all about Chromasilk Cream Hair Color, right? You're still mixing this 1 part color to 1.5 parts of your chosen developer. When you're putting it on over pre-lightened hair, you can either utilize the 10 volume to maximize your deposit, or you can bump it up to 20 to get a little bit more of a lighter, brighter effect. Now, the other way that I want you to utilize it is if you have any of your most favorite Chromasilk shades that you feel, maybe they just need a little pink in their life. or maybe you just need to boost up a little bit of the violet undertone that you find in there, these can be intermixed with your Chromasilk shades to give you that exact boost you're looking for. Let's say we take one of my most favorite colors. It's purple. I know you're surprised. Let's take our 7.7. That's a level 7, 100% violet tone. But I want to kick it up a notch with some of that violet in there. I'll take 20 grams of my 7.7 with 10 grams of my Violet Rain and mix that with 45 grams of my 10 volume developer. That overall appearance of the color will give me a nice deep purple effect. Next up in our color families, we have Chromasilk High Lifts, where we take all of that guesswork out of there for you to make your job a little bit easier. This right here is the swatch insert that you will find in the swatch book, and let me tell you, it is amazing. You will absolutely love it. Like I said at the beginning of this video, don't ever be afraid to utilize the tools that we have as hairstylists just to help us get that job done. One of my most favorite things about the Chromasilk High Lifts is that we have 5 different color choices for you. 4 of them are already designated to different starting levels in the hair, and they either contain a little more of a violet blue pigment or maybe a little bit less of a violet blue pigment to help you get the correct level of lift. Let's talk about that a little bit more, shall we? If I were to reach for my Cool Violet, in the swatch book, we have this incredible swatch insert that will show you if you're starting at a level 6, you want to make sure that you reach for your Cool Violet tone. If I were to start at a level 7 and I'm using my high lift, I would want to reach for my Violet Blue. If I was starting at a level 8, I could go ahead and reach for my Light Violet High Lift. And of course, if I was starting at a level 9 using a high lift, I could reach for my Pale Violet. Now you'll notice we have this color down here, which is Champagne. Our Champagne is helped to give just a little extra glimmer that'll show up in your color. Some of our clients really want to embrace the warmth, and that's totally fine. We can embrace the warmth with them. If you're looking to control more of the warm tones, you would want to make sure that you reach for one of these 4 first. If you're looking to warm it up a little bit, then you can add the Champagne into that as well. So of course you might be wondering, when is the perfect time to use my Chromasilk High Lifts? You know I'm going to tell you. So anytime you're using high lifts, you definitely will get the best result if you use it on virgin hair, and you would mix it 1 part color to 1.5 parts of either 30 or 40 volume developer, processing at room temperature 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, we have talked about all things permanent cream hair color, but I definitely have to move on to my next favorite thing, which is going to be all of our demi-permanent options within the PRAVANA line. To kick it off, I have our glorious Hydro Gloss. This is one of our most incredible innovations we have ever come out with, and I hope that all of you out there get the chance to use this. We have a plethora of shades ranging all the way from level 1 all the way up to level 10. And the shade options are endless. You can custom create as many different formulas as you need. Now the main thing about Hydro Gloss that I have to point out to you is the mixing ratio is a little bit different from the previous colors we talked about. Anytime you're mixing your Hydro Gloss color on your scale, you want to mix 1 part color to 1 part of your zero lift developer. Now like any and all demi-permanent colors, you want to utilize these on either damp or dry hair. We're going to talk a little bit more about what damp hair means in just a moment. Now this goes back to what I was talking to all of you about earlier when it came to natural versus neutral in your shades. Remember, Chromasilk Permanent Cream Hair Color has the Natural series. Our Hydro Gloss Demi-Permanent line has that perfectly balanced neutral. This way it's not swaying too cool or too warm, it's right there in the middle. Because we wanted to make all of the possibilities endless with Hydro Gloss, we have a few key features that I definitely want you to know about. For starters, the Hydro Gloss is a no-drip gel formula, meaning where you put it is where it's gonna stay. Anytime you're using it, make sure that you're always mixing it on your scale, of course, 1 part color to 1 part of your zero lift developer. We have so many different shade options that you can choose from. And again, it ranges all the way from a level 1 all the way up to a level 10. So any guest that's sitting on your chair can definitely have some Hydro Gloss in their hair. And the processing time, because that's of course very important, is any time up to 20 minutes. Alrighty, hair friends, let's walk through one of the color families so I can tell you the ins and outs of why we have these letters with the color. When I'm looking closely at my 1B, you can see it's very, very dark. 1B would essentially equate to a blue-black. You'll notice that it's a capital B. All of the colors within Hydro Gloss are calibrated to be at a designated level. For instance, a 1B is calibrated for a level 1, meaning it's going to be one of the deepest shades that we have. You'll notice the B is capitalized because a 1B is a very intense blue-black. Once you go all the way up to the scale and get to a level 10, you'll notice our 10B is a much lighter shade because it's at a level 10, but also the B is now lowercase, meaning it has a lot less of that intense blue in it, but it has enough blue in it to neutralize any residual warmth that you might find in the hair at a level 10. And last but not least, I know I mentioned before, every single color family that we have in PRAVANA is always going to have its very own clear. We do make a Hydro Gloss clear as well, again, to make your dilution options endless. You can either utilize it on its own, mixing it 1 part color to 1 part zero lift developer to do an all-over clear gloss on your client should they want it. Hey, maybe even add it on as an upcharge on a blowout that they're coming in to get that day. You can also use it to dilute or brighten any of the other existing Hydro Gloss shades as well. Alrighty, so let's mix up some Chromasilk Hydro Gloss. I want you to see this beautiful gel consistency within this tube. One of my most favorite things to use, everyone, is a tube key. The reason I love to use a tube key is because it truly helps to get out every single gram of color that's found within this tube. Turn on our scale, get our tube key on there. Remember, when you're mixing your Hydro Gloss, it's 1 part color to 1 part zero lift developer. Remember, tear it in between. Let's mix it up. And you'll just have to take my word for it how pleasant the fragrance of it is. If you don't believe me, go run to the store and grab it. Here's that beautiful gel format we were talking about before. One of my most favorite things to do with Hydro Gloss is any sort of shadow root. And the reason I love that is because it goes exactly where I want it to go and it stays where I put it. Look at this consistency. No drip. Alrighty, we've talked about Hydro Gloss. Now I'm gonna take you into our next world of demi-permanent options, which will be a cream color, and that's our Expresstones. Absolutely amazing and some of my most personal favorites. Now, just to remind you, the Hydro Gloss has designated levels to it. Remember, it's a level 1 all the way up to a level 10. What I definitely want you to know about our Expresstones is that they're all at a level 7 until you dilute them with some of our clear. And I know you're sticking with me because this is a new color family. It has its very own clear that you'll intermix with these shades as well. And to help you remember anytime you're diluting any sort of tone, I have a little rule for you to follow. It's called our 3, 2, 1 rule. You might want to grab a pen and paper or jot this down on your phone. This way, anytime you're in the salon and you have to remember, what did that girl with purple hair tell me to do? This is how you're going to want to go and dilute those formulas. If you were toning a level 7 utilizing our Chromasilk Expresstones, you would take just your color. You know I'm going to pick violet. So take 30 grams of violet and 45 grams of a zero lift developer and mix that together. That alone will give you a level 7. Now you'll notice the name is Expresstones, right? That's because these can process in 5 minutes or less. Anytime I'm trying to achieve a level 8 when I'm working with my Chromasilk Expresstones, I will take 1 part color and 3 parts of clear and mix that with my Zero Lift developer to get me a level 8. If I was trying to achieve a level 9, I could take 2 parts color and 2 parts clear and mix that together, and that will give me my level 9. If I was trying to achieve a level 10, you'll take 1 part color and 3 parts clear and mix that with your Zero Lift developer as well. Now, we know as hairstylists that sometimes when you're toning, that color might process a little bit faster. That's totally okay. Just remember, Expresstones can process in 5 minutes or less. Remember, anytime you're mixing your Chromasilk Expresstones, it's always mixed 1 part color to 1.5 parts of your Zero Lift developer. Next up is one of our latest and greatest innovations that truly will take any of the guesswork out of all of your toning options. We have the Chromasilk Platinum Toners, and they do exactly that. They tone any of your platinum clients. These shades are specifically designated for levels 9 and 10 only. You're gonna follow that same mixing ratio that you did for your Expresstones, 1 part color to 1.5 parts of our Zero Lift developer. Now, one of the things is whenever we're toning any of our platinum clients, what's the first thing we wanna make sure doesn't happen? We definitely don't want that toner to go too dark, right? That's when we're saying a prayer to those hair gods and we're hoping, please don't let my toner go too dark. Well, guess what? Pravana heard you about that as well, and here came the platinum toners. So what we've discovered, what works best with these tones, is that if you leave them on for 5 minutes, you'll end up getting tonal correction. What do I mean by that? So let's say you pre-lighten someone to a very beautiful 9, maybe even you get them to that 10, but you still see a little bit of that residual yellow. If you mix your platinum lilac and put it on the hair for 5 minutes, what will happen is it will neutralize all of that residual yellow, and when you wash it off, you will still have a very bright platinum blonde. If you had a client that came in and wanted to get a more lilac tone to their hair and they were platinum, you could go ahead, pre-lighten the hair, lift it to a level 9 or a level 10, put the platinum lilac on their hair, of course mixed with our Zero Lift developer, and leave it on for 10 minutes. What you'll notice with that is that you get tonal deposit. So if you're looking for tonal correction, you leave it on for 5 minutes. If you're looking for tonal deposit, you leave it on for 10. Now, another beautiful thing about these platinum toners is that they can be intermixed with each other. Sometimes you just have to have a little bit of warmth and a little bit of cool and mix it together and you create the perfect shade. One of my personal favorite formulas to mix up is actually our platinum gold with our platinum sand. It gives your platinum results just that beautiful, beigey, very natural blonde, and it looks great with any skin tone. I absolutely love that formula. Now, if we go back really quickly, I just taught all of you that 3-2-1 rule, where I told you if you wanted to take Expresstones clear and intermix it with any of these shades, you can alternate the level of deposit that you will get. Well, just because we at PRAVANA can give you endless possibilities, guess what, my loves? You can actually mix in the platinum toners with your Expresstones as well to also custom create more formulas. So when you're following that 3-2-1 rule, remember to just replace the clear with one of the platinum toners and go for those lighter levels. Alrighty, if you're here, it means that you have stuck with me through this whole video, and I love that for you. And now you've learned about all things Chromasilk. Isn't that fun? I absolutely loved teaching you all the tips and tricks. You now know our mixing ratio for any time you're working with permanent cream hair color, utilizing 10, 20, 30, or 40 volume developer. We always mix that 1 part color to 1.5 parts developer. You've learned how to do gray coverage. You have learned how to tone with 3 different options. I have now given you all the tools that you need to go out there and help all of your clients' hair dreams come true. I want to thank you for spending your time with me today. And guess what? The education does not stop right here. You can visit us at pravana.com for so many other options of educational videos and little tips and tricks that you can learn and have with you behind the chair. Once again, I'm Ashley Kruppeberg, PRAVANA Global Artistic Educator, and I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere today but here with you. Go out there and do some beautiful hair, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.